Hi, this is Mike with OPST. We're out on the water today, checking out the new rods. These are the final versions. We've been testing the prototypes for the last year, and they're finally here for you to see, feel, and cast. I think you'll really like them. Things that we've done different. We didn't start out to build a new rod. We were going to beef up our 8-weight. Is kind of how this whole line started, as just one rod we wanted to put more power into. And when we did that, we stumbled onto a new graphite blend, and our manufacturer was like, hey, try this out, I think you'll really like it. And so we had a sample built of it, not thinking we were going to do anything, and we were just going to stay with what we were doing, just beef up the 8-weight. We wanted something to handle bigger fish that way. And as soon as we got the new blend that they first cast, was like, wow, it was a shocking how well it casts on a bad cast. And it was instant, wow, where did that power come from? So we started with the 8. We spent basically a year prototyping that new version of the 8, and then slowly added into the new models. We wanted to see what a 4 would feel like, and then what a 7 would feel like. And every single rod had that crisp wow into the cast that was just something that we couldn't ignore. So then we went into, you know, let's make a change. Let's bring this into our lineup. And last year you saw us do cork. That was a big thing for us. Finding good cork was a really hard process, and it's really difficult to find nowadays. We stumbled onto this stuff. It's a renewable resource, which is rad, because cork is not a renewable resource overall. Most of the time they cut the cork trees down, and once it's cut down, it's dead. This company has learned how to strip the bark, make cork with it. They don't kill the tree, the bark regrows, and they can do it over and over and over again, which is a rad thing. And the cork quality has been absolutely phenomenal, and it's some of the best that I've seen. Good cork was really easy to get 20 years ago, and now all the cork you see now has lots of filler and has spots in it that cover it up, and it's, to find natural cork with very little filler is just really hard. So that was something we introduced into our rods last year, which was a big change. And then with these rods, we wanted to continually bring you more. We worked on the reel seat, was the next thing. We went with down locking reel seats versus the old style up locking. Changes your balance a little bit, changes your rod up a little bit, the way you hold it when you fish. Worked on the rear grips, kind of giving you a more clean feel. And the idea is, majority of people will hold your grip like this. So we wanted to give you something that just swivels really well, and it feels good in the hands, and it's smooth. And once we got that done, and then it was working on the actual rod, we always liked the natural blank colors. It's the way it was. It's kind of got an old school, everybody paints blanks now, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we didn't want to go that far, but we wanted to try something a little different. So what we did is, this is a raw blank that's been cleared. So it comes off glossy. It's got a good presentation to it, and it looks really nice. Yet when you look through it, you can still see all the spirals from the graphite. There's nothing hidden behind it. You see the blank as raw through the clear, but it just gives it kind of a better look, a cleaner, smoother look. And when we did that, we changed out the threads. We had the blue threads on the old rod, so this is just going to have a smoke gray colored threads, just kind of staying stealthy, identifies them differently. But we didn't want to have like a big loud anything. Still, most of the wraps are black, just have a little bit of this smoke gray as your counter colors, and they'll be down here at the butt, and then each section will have a little bit on it. The stripping guides will have more, and as you go farther down the rod, there'll be just one little thin line of it. Otherwise, it just looks like a black threaded rod. The cool part about this graphite is, in this blend, is it's really light. The swing rate is really light, but it's really powerful. So immediately it'll be a tiny bit faster, but the only one that we've changed in action wise is the 8-weight. So the 8-weight we beefed up basically around 50 grains heavier line than the old style. Everything else is right on par with, if you fished our rods before, if you fished the 4-weight and you like a 175, typically you're gonna like a 175. Me, I've always been a 200 on the 4, and there's basically 3 lines for each rod depending on your casting style. But these rods will still fit in that same window, that if you're like, man, I love that 7-weight you guys had, this rod right here in the 7 is that and more. It still has that absolute crisp, beautiful cast feel to it, but it's just a little tiny bit faster and a little bit lighter. Gives you a little more power in your cast. But I've been casting this all day, today, and I'm still running a 325 on it. If you like your line just a little bit heavier, run a 350 on it, and it'll throw all your heavy sing tips. It'll throw your big flies. It's a really good summer run steelhead rod. And then, like I said, then we have the 8-weight as our good winter run, and those are the SHS series. So right now in the SHS we have the 7 here, an 11 foot, and then the 8 and an 11.5 foot. That'll be our rods. That's where we're going to stay. Those are our core in our rods in SHS. We'll introduce and show, and I've talked about a little bit on the trout side and the micro spay and the trout spay. We have the MS series, and basically that's the 3, 4, and 5. Again, same. If you're like, my buddy has one, I want to try it out. It's the same line classes as what your buddy has. So the same line's going to fish on these new rods. They're just lighter. They changed. You know, like I said, we introduced on the trout stuff with the full wells last year, so it'll have that. Some of the guys have the newer handles that'll have that. It's just got nicer components to it now, and like I said, it's a nicer graphite, it's a nicer blend, it's a higher end, and like I said, it makes it lighter. And then in the trout stuff, it's even lighter, so it's really good. I think you guys will really like this, and get out and try it. And you know, we see us at a show, we're going to have all these at our shows, and the next show that we're going to be doing is in Idaho with Red Shed, and these rods will be on display and ready for you to cast.